Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to stop the chitter chatter and get ready for what matters. You know, it's Tuesday Night Fight Talk. My name's Jaidon. I'm a former two-time cruiserweight champion of the world, and I'm your host, and this is my show. Now let's go!
My special guest tonight from Queens, New York, my homeboy, my partner. Y'all put your hands together for my man, Jaidon, the Dawn, Cordrington. What's up, champ? What's up?
What's up, Yaya?
Man, how you doing, bro?
I'm all right. Let me tell you something, man. I don't want my folk to get mad at me. A lot of my fighting career came out of Queens, but I was born and bred in Bridgeport, Connecticut. How about that?
Okay, I feel you.
Absolutely. Had a strong part to do with it, man.
And just like you did, I really grew up in Vegas because in the 9th grade we moved to Vegas. I don't want no beef with nobody from Vegas. Hey, man, I'm glad you could take the time out to come on here, bro. I know you got, a lot of things to do, family, friends, and whatnot, especially during this Rona time. You out kicking it, going to the beach and all that.
I mean, I'm not doing that, but got 2 kids at home, got an everyday life, you know what I'm saying? I got to make that money rotate the wheel. Life goes on without boxing. So it's like we all got responsibilities to take care of and things to tend to.
Absolutely, man. So you got 2 kids?
Yeah, my little baby J. Marie's 2 years old. And my son Jaidon Jr. is 5 years old. He'll be 6 in July.
Okay, that's what's up, man. When they gonna start boxing?
Never. Let me tell you something, yo. Like I know, boxing is like a poverty sport. You don't wake up in silk sheets, or you're not raised in a certain demographic, maybe, or raised in a certain socio-economical environment and want to box. Boxing comes from the poorest of the poor. In order for you to crawl in a box and want to fight to pay your bills, you have to come from the worstest of worst situations. Yeah. And my kids, I'm proud to say, are not in that type of environment. That's why a lot of the juniors and, a lot of the kids and grandkids of these champions can't do it because they start getting hit. They're like, nah, I didn't sign up for this. This ain't cool. Or they wake up 5 a.m. in the morning with silk sheets and they're not inspired to go running, especially when somebody's not chasing them. You know what I'm saying? Right.
I feel you. That's the majority of them. You got a few out there that just do it because they love it.
Yeah, but how far do they go?
They go all the way sometimes.
Hector Camacho is a different type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Not to say he went all the way, but he went as far as he did because he was born and bred it. Not to mention, Hector Camacho came up rough himself. Everything wasn't handed to him on a silver platter. So, he had to grind for his. So maybe it was rough for him.
No question about it. So how you come up? What was so rough about where you came up?
Well, I'm from a small town in Connecticut called Bridgeport, and I was raised in the projects called Bearsley Terrace. These projects, I think, had 12 buildings. All right, so check me out. The projects where I was raised pretty much had 12 I think it was 12 buildings, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 8 stories high, maybe 12 apartments on each level. So it was one way in, one way out. You had buildings on both sides of the street. After a while, they knocked down a few buildings and built apartments, but it was all the same thing because it was the same demographic there. So, I came up in a small town, and the type of environment I came in was where you had to handle your business that day because it's not like Atlanta where you can have beef with somebody and, I can have a life or death situation right here where I live, in Douglasville. I could move to Gwinnett, go to the same job, live my same life, and never see that dude again. It wasn't like that where I lived, If you had beef with somebody, you had to handle that problem because by the end of that day, you were going to see him or one of his peoples, one of his families. So it was a small town environment. you know, it was negative for the most part because everybody wanted to get ahead. It was cutthroat, you know what I'm saying? So I came up.
Feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I understand what you're saying, but please don't believe that because they will tap on your door right here in the ATL too.
Nah, man. Let me tell you something. I go right now to Kennesaw. Everybody will think I'm dead.
Nah, B. Don't believe that, B.
Well, you gotta realize I left Bridgeport when I was 16, 17 years old for the most part. So after that, you know what I'm saying? It was like the kind of problems I had back then, they wouldn't have followed me from Douglasville to Kennesaw for.
Right. Okay. So
Now, if you got grown man problems, maybe they might find you, but it'd be a lot harder. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel you. So when did you start boxing?
I started boxing at the age of, I was actually 14, 13 years old. I started pretty late.
So you started in Connecticut?
Yes.
And then when you got to Queens, where did you start boxing? When you got to New York, where did you go?
Here's the thing. When I started boxing in Connecticut, you know what I'm saying? I went to the Junior Olympics, right? I was only boxing for about a year. I met my uncle. I call my uncle Andre Rozier. A lot of y'all know him, Dre, the owner of Havoc Boxing Equipment and Gear. Great guy. And when I met him there in Curtis and Charles Vanderveer and, you know, Anthony Irons and all these people I still call my family today, you know, he said, I know your last name. Do you have a cousin named Pitt? I said, yes, I know. He said, I trained Pitt. Long story short, about a few weeks after I left there, my father was sending me to stay with my aunt in Queens, in Laurelton. Every weekend, I was training with my guys in Brooklyn, transporting back and forth. And I was training in Brooklyn, living in Queens for the weekends, every vacation, every long weekend, so on and so forth. You know, I would like to say that, you know, it'll be easy to say that for the most part that I got my skill and my sparring partners and my confidence and all that swag from New York because that's where the real competition was. I just kind of upkept in Bridgeport. No pun to Joe Goss, who was running the Bridgeport Pal at the time, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. So where was you at in New York? I'm saying, where you was in Brooklyn?
No, I was living in Laurelton, Queens. I
know, but I'm saying, where was you training? You said you was training.
I was training between Coney Island and Starlight City. We had both gyms. It was the same camp. Between Felipe Gomez, Norma Oloric, Gary Starks, and Andre Rozier was basically the four head trainers of several fighters we had back then. Between me, Louis Collazo, thanks, Dave. We had Louis Collazo. We had Curtis Stevens, Charles Vanderveer. We had myself. We had a big crew back then. You know, Monty Barrett started with us back then, and
right.
You know, we had Hino Hekimemnor. He's a big time trainer right now. Trains Drake and Usher and a lot of other people. So we had a lot of people in our small camp.
Right. No doubt. You was always around, you know, the hot boys. It was always something popping with you.
Absolutely.
You know, from like you just said, come on, man, are you serious?
But listen, when wifey bring me food, I eat it, man.
This guy here, man.
Hold on 1 second. Babe, give me a drink. Can you give me something to drink with a little bit of goofy juice?
Yeah, hurry up.
I need my goofy juice.
Hurry up, Jaidon.
Thank you, bro.
Don't play with me.
My bad.
Yeah, okay.
Let me see that real quick, babe.
No.
I keep I'm here.
Yo, man, you bugged out, man. So what was your amateur record like?
Well, I had 59 wins, 13 losses. I won the National Golden Gloves. I won a couple other small tournaments that were pointless of not mentioning. I won New York City Golden Gloves. I was out there in the Olympic camp for Al Mitchell for about a year and a half. I won the Milwaukee Golden Glove. I won the New England Golden Glove. So, you know, my amateur career was a lot of fun. That's where I met a lot of lifetime friends that I still keep in touch with today. And I wouldn't trade that for the world, man.
Yeah. So what happened to the Olympics?
You know what? At the time I was trying to fight an Olympic team and make it to the trials, there was a lot of controversy with a few decisions I had. One was with the Army ranked #1 guy at the time, DeAndre Abron. God rest his soul. He just died not too long ago in a car accident. But I had a couple of decisions that didn't go my way that, you know, I knocked the guy down a few times and gave him a 7-8. I felt like they should have stopped. They didn't give me the decision. Damon Dash went to promote me along with Lou DiBella, Irv Gotti, and his brother Chris Gotti, who's like another father figure to me at the time. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to turn me pro, and I decided, like, you know, why wait? You know, I got a good offer here.
You turned pro with Murder Inc.
Yeah.
And with Dame Dash, not together though.
Well, Dame was my promoter along with Lou DiBella. The Murder Inc. was managing me.
Right. And you ran up. Your first 10 fights was all knockouts.
Yeah, 9.
No. There was 10.
Green, he promised to go inside, and he's stung, and he has rocked Cordrington's world and left. And it's over. Over in 18 seconds.
It's just that the 10th one was on the other end.
Oh, yeah. You've been waiting for that, son.
Hey, man, it happened to all of us. Yeah, man, but that was a big shocker to everybody, though, man. You ran off 9 straight knockouts. Your first 9 fights. 9 straight knockouts.
Not for nothing. I wasn't fighting, you know, the kings of the world, but every time I fought, they stepped it up. You know, I fought for the New York State title with only 8 fights. I fought for a 10-rounder. I had the main event at 34th Street's Hammerstein Ballroom. You know, the fight before that, I fought Glenn Joe Rayburn, who was like 14-2 at the time.
Right.
He came off a fight night of the year with Billy Gibbs. Knocked him out in a couple rounds. So, you know, Etienne Whitaker, who was like, you know what I'm saying, he had fought, you know, a lot of names out there. You know, I fought Levon Easley. You know, remember him. You know, he had knocked Scott Pemberton down in the prior fight before me. So, you know, for a guy with a few fights, you know, I would step my competition up quite rapidly. You know what I'm saying?
So, what happened with Allen?
I tell you what, I had a lot going on at that time, but at the end of the day, I was not ready, man. I look back at that fight and I remember there was a point where I was bouncing in the corner before they formally introduced me in the ring. I was looking at a picture of myself. And this picture of myself I was looking at, it was hanging down, was life-size. It was a life-size picture. And I remember saying to myself, I can't believe I'm here. I made it. My first time on network TV like Showtime, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't believe it. Only 9 fights in. At that point, I had never fought outside New York, you know what I'm saying? I had built up a home fan base. It was my first time outside New York. I was 20 years old, my first undefeated fighter, my first time on Showtime or the major network. You know, it was a lot of first.
Miami turned up.
So it was like, yo, I just wasn't ready. I'm looking at that big-ass picture of myself, thinking to myself, I can't believe I made it, I'm here. And when I watched that tape, while I'm looking at that picture of myself, you can see myself looking at while I'm bouncing in the corner, Alan Green's eyes are zeroed in on me. And he was probably thinking the same thing. This kid's not ready.
Right. Yeah, and that's what you got to be. You got to have 100% confidence, especially when you stepping up, you out of your element, fighting in another town, especially like a big city like Miami. It was, you know, everything. But you came back from that. I mean, it was a bad loss, but you came back from that.
Hey, man. It's not how you fall, but how you get back up. And not too long after that, you know, maybe I took one warm-up fight, and I fought Carl Daniels. After that, he was 40-99 at the time. A couple of his losses came to Bernard Hopkins and Chad Dawson and to well-known people. And I remember I went to camp with Ike Corte. And Ike Corte was fighting on the same card. He was fighting Vernon Forrest, which was a real controversial decision. And I remember how hard I trained for that fight. You just went back to the essence, man. Ike ran 10 miles every morning. Every morning he got up at 6 a.m., ran 10 miles, 5 miles down the street, 5 miles back.
That's crazy.
He would take a break for probably 6-7 hours. He would go to the boxing gym. He would spar 10 rounds. He would hit the bag 10 rounds. And he was done for he would do his sit-ups, push-ups, and pull-ups. He was done for the day. It's all he did. I've never seen Ike shadow box. I've never seen him hit a pad. I've never seen him stretch. It's crazy, man. And, you know, Ike's and that's why he has a style like he has. Like, it's unbreakable. If you beat him, you have to beat him at his game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that took you to the next level.
I would like to think so.
And was you still with Murder Inc. at that point?
Yes. I'm a pretty loyal guy to my fault. Not to say that I would change it, but I would like to think that if I weren't so loyal, maybe things could have been a little bit different for me.
Yeah. Sometimes loyalty get in the way.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure that first loss was the low point. But what was the high
That was
point?
definitely the low point, but my boy Curtis came up together in the pros. We had Urban Chris managing us, and we had Damon Dash Littlebell promoting us.
Yeah, y'all was running. Y'all was
the chin checkers, man. We formulated them.
This young man has all the potential to be one of the greats. He is up and down he goes, and that's it. This kid could be one of those guys. Oh, there it is again, the uppercut. Oh, and the flurries. The body shot combinations upstairs court. That's it. It is over. The referee decided Osborne was not throwing back. The winner by way of technical knockout.
Let me tell you something about these niggas.
Chin checkers.
Yeah,
I'll let your boy.
Chin checkers.
Let's keep it all together. Let's keep it all together.
Chin
Let them know what's going on.
checkers.
So y'all part of the Inc.
It's true.
Okay. We was on Oprah. We was on Wendy Williams. We had DVDs out on Smack. At that time, we was way ahead of our time, man. At that time, we was way ahead of our time, man.
So would you?
There's no doubt if we came out now, we would go viral overnight. We were just too soon for our time back then, man.
So
that was one high point. I was locally known. The other one was with the Contender. That put me more on a national basis when people would ask me for autographs in your Walmart and things like that.
And when you got on the Contender, you did well. You went to the finals before you lost.
Yeah.
Who you lost to? Brian Vera?
No, hell no. Not come on 2 rounds. You stop that. Stop that.
Who did you lose?
Stop that.
Who did you lose to, man? I forgot.
Sakio Bika, former world
Oh,
champion.
yeah, that's right. Sekio Bika. Right.
The Sakio I lost to wasn't the Sakio that, no pun intended, but Andre Durrell beat. Those were two different people. And you know what I mean,
Yeah.
He was done when these guys, when these guys are struggling with him, he was done. Okay, let's put that out there. When I fought him, he had enough experience to be able to obviously beat me, but not only that, he had enough in the tank to still be considered a young guy in the game. He had fought for 2 world titles before I fought him.
Yeah.
Joe Kazayi, and Marcus Bayer.
Oh, from Germany.
Realistically, he shouldn't have been on the show.
Yeah.
These are all young guys coming up. Why is he here?
Hey, that was y'all's opportunity.
Yeah, man. I try to give it to him too, man. But Lil Wayne and the boys, Lil Wayne messed that up for me, man.
Lil Wayne, the rapper?
Mm-hmm.
How did he mess that up?
I had trained 10 hard weeks.
Say what?
Boxing move. I had trained 10 hard weeks, boxing move. Everybody had to tell me, listen, if this guy goes 10 rounds with you, they won't give him the decision. All you gotta do is make it to the 10th bell. I can box my ass off, use my jab, head feints, in and out, holding it inside, get my shit off first, turn them, do the same thing over and over. Man, before that fight, the last thing I remember, besides my father passing away a few weeks prior, and I was filled with rage. That song came on. I ain't never ran from a nigga in that damn story. About to 6 minutes running. I looked at Buddy McGirt. He looked at me and we started singing at each other's faces. I was bouncing. I'm ready to go in there and fight the dude in the hat. Buddy McGirt had no idea what I had in my mind. Yeah. After the first round, he was like, yo, what are you doing? I thought we had a game plan.
You gotta stop taking them shots. You're up, baby, but you gotta be smart now. Don't get in the shootout. When you get in the shootout, you playing into his game. Okay, sit back. Okay?
This is a fight that was made for super slow-mo. That was the knockdown in the first round. Some of the great exchanges through 7 rounds. The uppercut by Bika. Back and forth they have gone, opening up with wide punches.
Moves on, and those wide shots were invited behind those gloves. Again, you don't want to put earmuffs on. We said that earlier. And right there's a perfect picture of it. Cordrington covering up, and the right hand coming behind the glove, followed by a left hook.
The reaction of Jaidon's girlfriend, Jasmine.
But that song messed me up. The last thing I heard.
But, you know, emotions could play a whole lot on it. But you got to learn to, you know, use that for positive like Buster Douglas did.
I mean, that comes to the veterans in the game. He was able to do that because he had been there before. I've never sold out a garden. You got to understand something. I fought Sakio Bika in TD Bank Garden in Boston where the Celtics play. And I had been born in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which was a stone throw away. Not only that, but I was fighting a guy from Africa that nobody knew. You got to realize that year, at that time, the Patriots were 16-0 before they lost to the Giants. But at this time, they were 16-0. The Boston Red Sox had broken the curse of the Bambino that year, beat the Yankees, and won the World Series. The same year, it was the New England Patriots had won the Super Bowl. So the energy in sports that year was unheard of. The people that came out to my fight, the professional athletes, the commentators, it was crazy, man. It was a lot.
Yeah. Now y'all was everywhere y'all went, it was crazy back then. You had the whole Murder Inc. crew rolling behind you everywhere you went. I remember when we seen you at the Turning Stone.
Hey man, let me tell you something, man. That was one of the worst things I did in my whole career. You come to the ring and you got Ja Rule rapping for you, and the music's bumping, and I got Curtis next to me, and he got his old slew of goons from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I got my slew of goons from Bridgeport, Connecticut, my brothers, my cousins, you know what I'm saying? A couple of my friends, man. And you get in that ring, you take your shirt off, and the music starts playing, you all by yourself, dog. That is the loneliest feeling you'll ever get. Now you fighting somebody, and you always feel like saying, where y'all going? We want to get this dude, right? Hey, man, we want to get this dude, right? Hey, man, it's you by yourself, man. The more people you bring to the ring, the lonelier you'll feel when they announce you. Yeah. That's a guarantee.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. So what are you doing with boxing now, man?
Right now, I'm actually running the Atlanta Pal. And this is one of the hardest things for me to do, man.
Why?
When I was coming up as a boxer, I wanted it. Nobody had to mind trick me to want to box or train my parents to let me come to the gym. I was there every day. You know, I was the first one there, last one to leave. And I don't know if it's a generational thing, but it seems like, or maybe it was just me, the way I was. I expect people to be the same, but people aren't dedicated, you know.
Yeah.
And their parents aren't supportive. So it's hard to get a solid team. And every time I get a good little team, I feel like I'm going to make a run in these amateur games. Something happens. It's like, you know, it's like not only do you got to train the fighters, but you got to train their parents, you know. A lot of kids I train are from the inner cities from Atlanta, well, all of them really. It's like I got to train their parents to see the vision that I see, you know. If you want to get out of here, this is your meal ticket. And it's hard to get them to realize that because it's not a instant gratification thing. It's like it takes time. Yeah. It's not basketball. You're not going to play basketball, a couple pickup games, go to practice for a week, and go play a game and shine. It's not like that.
You know, people, they see Instagram, they see Floyd, they see Adrian Broner, they see Deontay, they see Two
But they don't know how many ass whoopings they took to get where they are.
Right, exactly. That's that part, you know what I mean? So it takes people like you that are willing to dedicate themselves to the craft, you know, because I closed my gym. I was no longer with that. But
I remember you were promoting guys.
Yeah.
You had some talent on your side too, yo.
But you know, it takes more than talent. It takes someone that's gonna listen. And when they don't listen, they learn.
Yeah, man.
And when they learn, it's too late.
Yeah, man.
It's too late. So what besides boxing, what are you doing right now?
Man, because it's Corona, not much going on. I got, you know, one thing I've always knew about myself is from the time I was a kid, man, I'm a hustler, so I know how to get money. When I say a hustler, I'm not talking about nothing illegal or immoral or unconstitutional or anything like that. I mean, I'm a hard worker. So I have a couple of streams of revenue. I just bought my third house. I'm about to move into it. You know, I'm actually in the midst of packing right now, and the movers are coming tomorrow. That's why, you know, I'm in this situation where I'm sweating and trying to get something to eat while I'm talking to you, so on and so forth. But yeah, man.
Hey, man, but you didn't call me to buy your house. You know, I'm a real estate agent.
Didn't know that. Yeah, you do. You like me, man. You do everything. I wish I would have known.
I'm with Keller Williams, brother.
Oh, the shorty I'm with, I used it was the Keller Williams. Check this out, yo. I used her to sell my house, right? We made a deal. She took nothing off my house. I paid her nothing, but dig, the house I want is $400,000. The community is paying her 4% to sell the house, to find buyers. So she got 4% of the house, which means she got $16,000 offered to sell this house, but I didn't pay her anything. That's what I mean by I'm a hustler. I'm not going to pay you 3% to sell my house and then get these people to pay you 4% to buy a house when you didn't even find it. We already found the house I wanted. All you had to do is show up.
And so, what'd you do?
I didn't pay her anything to sell a house. The subdivision paid her 4% of $400,000 to buy a house. So she's got a $16,000 check that you could have got, man.
Yeah.
But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna chalk that up to that Alan Green joke you made about it. We're gonna chalk that up like that.
Oh man, Alan, who?
Exactly.
Hey man, you crazy, man. Well, look, man, I appreciate your time, dog. I want to know if you want people to find you, let them know where they can find you. what social media platforms or whatever?
Well, I'm on Instagram on Donnie Dub Deuces, DONNYDUBDEUCES, Donnie Dub Deuces. Facebook, Jaidon Cordrington, my regular name. Not really into the social media aspect as big as others are, but those are the names you can find me others. So you're not going to see me on any other platforms.
You got to promote because there's a lot of kids out here looking for somewhere to train, man.
And I got to get back into it, man. I got a lot going on, and it feels good. It feels good. If you ain't got nothing going on, you need to get something going on. You dig?
For sure. For sure. Well, look, champ, I appreciate you, man. I ain't going to hold you, man.
It's been my pleasure, man. It's been my pleasure.
Hey.
Next week, tune in. The next episode of Tuesday Night Fight Talk. Hey, hit the subscribe, tell a friend, and share it.
Gotta stay focused, I will not lose. I got the mind of a champ. Undefeated like the champ. Well respected when you see me. The street treat me like a champ. Got my weight right like the champ.